What's up, manifestation queens? We have Kash Beauty in the house. It is Keilidh.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat to you.
I was so nervous this morning. I was like,
why?
What if she doesn't show up? What if she doesn't show up? And I'm not and I'm not a negative. Like, I'm actually quite a positive person, but I was just like, what if? And I was like, what if she does? Would you just relax?
I couldn't do that. I wouldn't cancel last minute. Definitely not. That's not me.
I know. Well, I have actually something really funny. So I was telling you that I don't really Google people beforehand, but I did Google this yesterday, and I thought it was very funny. So let's find out. This is on YouTube.
Okay.
And it was like, they're calling you Keilidh MUA, but it's supposed to be MUA.
MUA, yeah.
Right?
Keilidh MUA. Yeah, but my name as well, it's like Scottish Gaeilge. My mom's Scottish, so even the Keilidh, people get confused so many times with it. Like, I've been called absolutely everything under the sun. Keilidh, 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 anything you can think of apart from Keilidh. But yeah, the MUA part is funny because I had people coming up who were watching my videos like, are you Keilidh MUA? I'm like, that's not my second name actually, but yeah, I'll take it.
It's so funny though, because I was telling you before, I'm so bad with makeup. Like, I literally have like 3 products in my makeup because I don't know how. I've never learned.
What works for you works. That's it. Yeah.
It doesn't work. But I only recently learned that MUA is makeup artist.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know it though, so don't feel bad about that. A lot of people don't know what that MUA stands for that. But I didn't actually whenever I first started and I was a makeup artist. It was only whenever I found out what it was. That's like, oh my God, that's genius. That's why my name has to be MUA in it. Yeah.
So this is when were you born? This is August. Is that right?
No, that's completely right. Are you on is this, you can't believe anything Google says first of all.
So you weren't born in August?
No, I'm an Aries queen.
So you must be April.
Yeah, 2nd April, yeah.
Okay. So your birthday's coming up. Okay. So and then they said this, which actually annoyed me. I don't know if it annoys you. Keilidh MUA is a makeup artist and content creator. And I was like, she's a founder as well.
She is. I don't know what's that. Honestly, I don't believe any of those websites because they also said that I am like a multimillionaire and I'm like,
they did.
Someone tell me where my money is.
By the way, they have your net worth as like between 3 million and 24
I would like,
million.
if they can send me that would be fine. 24 million, I will take gladly. Thank you very much.
I am abundant. Your favorite quote or famous quote, beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself.
I definitely didn't. That was not me. I must have stolen that off the internet somewhere.
There's one really good one, and it was like,
I mean, I'll take that. That sounds very smart and intelligent.
This is, have you ever been involved in any controversies? And it was like, no. Is that true?
Stay in your lane. Yeah.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. That's it was just brilliant. But anyway, I posted yesterday this picture. This is a picture of you with your face hidden. And I was like, who's coming on the podcast tomorrow? And I got Sabrina Carpenter, Beyonce.
So I mean, I'll take that. I will take that. Absolutely.
Maura Higgins.
Yeah.
Who else did I got Keilidh from a few people like, love her. And then my best friend said, obviously somebody seriously sexy.
I don't look like that all the time. I don't look like that right now. But that was for an award show. So yeah, I had to turn it up then.
You won.
Yeah.
I thought that was, like when I saw that picture of you, I was like, she's painted her outfit on her and she's got nipple rings and a belly button ring.
It's fun. Do you know what it is? I have such a different way of looking at fashion now as well. I feel like before I used to wear things that maybe other people would like, or I wouldn't really kind of think about it. Whereas now I love RuPaul's Drag Race and he always says, we're all born naked and the rest is drag. So I really have taken that quote and ran with it. I think it's fun to like dress yourself up and not take it too seriously and wear something that's fun or outrageous. Like, it's an award show, for Christ's sake. When else are you going to get to do it? When else am I going to get to wear nipple earrings walking around, you know?
Yeah. But how did you like get the confidence to just like totally and utterly be yourself? Have you always been that way?
I feel like I'm very defiant, as in if someone tells me I can't or shouldn't do something, that makes me want to do it more. I think, to be honest, I think when you're younger, you always have that little bit of self-doubt and, you know, confidence issues. I really do think from growing older that I've gained more confidence, but also in the job that I'm in, I feel like it can either go one or two ways. I feel like the job can either, like posting yourself online, you can either get inundated with hate comments and really take that to heart and like have that lower your confidence. But for me, I was just built up so much from other people, and I really think I gained my confidence through makeup because it's my thing that I really loved and I really enjoyed. And it's something that I worked really hard at and practiced at and got better at and gained confidence through that's my confidence base. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes total sense. When did you realize that makeup and being creative was your passion?
I always loved being creative. Like I had my mom's heart broke. I'd be drawing all over the walls in the house and everything like that. Should be given out to me. But I always loved it. I always knew that I wanted to do something creative. I just didn't see anything else for myself. I originally wanted to be a tattoo artist because I love drawing. But it's funny when I look back at all my artwork that I used to do, they're all faces. So it's weird how it's translated now. But I was in my final year of school and I remember I was looking at little Google images, just, those step tutorials of how to do eye makeup. And I was doing that and I got a few compliments being like, "Geez, you're really good at that," or whatever. Obviously from being creative at art, it must have translated onto my face. And I was like, maybe I do like this. Maybe I could be better at it. I love like theatrical makeup and makeup in movies. So one of my favorite movies growing up was Pirates of the Caribbean. I was always mesmerized by the makeup in it and knowing how long they had to sit in the chair for like 6 hours before they even got to film. Like I loved the idea of kind of almost transforming yourself into something totally different. So I just decided that. But again, I feel like I go on what I want to do and how I kind of feel. Again, I won't let anyone, like I was told whenever I wanted to do makeup, how are you going to make a career for yourself out of this? Like I remember my parents being worried. It was coming from a place of care. They were like, well, how are you going to make, a good living for yourself? They couldn't see the bigger picture. I honestly couldn't even see the bigger picture back then either because influencing or content creating wasn't even a job back then. But I just knew I wanted to do it and I loved it. So I went with it.
Yeah, and I do think I totally get you there because when I started the brand Pause Penny, my dad like literally nearly had a stroke. He was like, "You're going to give up law? Like, I can't sleep. Oh my God." I'm like, I'm following my passion. And do you think that if people follow their passion, they'll find the success, whatever success means, I guess. If you're not manifesting in 2025, then what are you doing? And for the love of the universe, will you take down your vision board? We know from neuroscience that you gotta write it to invite it. And that is why I created the Pause Penny Manifestation Box. 7 simple steps. Writing it down, visualization, and taking action, because we know action is key. And why should you listen to me? Well, you should listen to me because I've manifested it all. My soulmate, twins, dream job, dream houses, abundance. And I know that this is the right way. So you gotta write it to invite it. Pick up our bestseller manifestation box on pausepenny.com.
I think there's 2 ways about it because obviously following your passion means you're going to be doing a job that you end up loving. But then the other thing is as well, sometimes the job can take the love out of your passion then if it's something that it depends what you see it as. Like if your passion is something that you use to relax and like unwind and everything, I think it's a way of finding the balance between it. But I definitely think if you have a passion and you have something that you love and people are telling you, "Oh, I don't know about this," I think if you know that you're going to put in 120%, if you know you're going to give it everything, you should go for it. Like 100%. If I didn't go for it back then, I would have, it wasn't even an option for me. I didn't even think of it like that. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make it work." I remember not even being worried about it. I was just like, "Oh, I'll make it work. I'll find something that I love doing, within this space." But I think if you're passionate about something, definitely go for it because you just never know what doors could open up.
You never know. And that's the thing. I think we kind of pigeonhole ourselves and we're like, okay, well, I do makeup, so that's all I can do. But you've created now a massive brand out of it. How did it go from doing makeup into launching your own business?
So I was doing makeup artistry for years. I was working on counter. I was working on loads of different skin tones, skin types, all ages, genders, everything. And I started posting my work online. And again, influencing wasn't really a thing back then, or content creation. It was YouTubers were kind of the thing that was up and coming, but it was, or blogs. Say, I wasn't going to go writing a blog. I'm not writing out big things. But so I started with that. I built a platform online and I ended up leaving the brand I was working for to do makeup artistry, like on clients, take my own clients. And I didn't even get a chance to do that because I bought a chair and everything. I was going to set up my own little space at home. But by the time I had left, I'd grown such a following that brands were just approaching me. And I would be able to make more money creating content that I love, you know, having my own opinions and using brands that I love as well. I was doing that for years. I collaborated with some of the biggest brands in the world. I had a massive collaboration with Morphe. I know they're a massive American brand back in 2016. So I had a collaboration with them and I really got a taste for creating products. So again, my kind of dream evolved from just creating looks on my face to actually creating products for people to use. I really loved creating stuff that made people feel confident or that, you know, improved their day. Do you know, because I view makeup so differently. Yes, it's a thing to make you feel beautiful, but it's also a thing to give you confidence and a way of self-expression. So your like identity is how I kind of see it. So I got a taste for that. And I was with my friend and business partner and he was like to me, would you start your own brand? And it's always, I think every makeup artist would love to create their own products or create their own brand. And by the time I was like, oh, I don't know. I think I must have been like 22 at this stage. And he was like, well, what's your reason not to? And I was like, I actually don't have any reasons why not. So that's why we got started. Like if you don't start, like if I had you have to, I think I'm a creative person. All right. This is what I always say first and foremost. I didn't do business in school. My whole purpose, I feel like on this earth is to create. So the business world can be intimidating if you're not part of it or don't know anything about it. But the best thing you can do is just start. Because honestly, like everything in life, once you actually start, you learn as you go. Like 100%.
Totally. Like my husband gives out to me every other month when I do my VAT return. I have to do my own and I can't do basic mathematics.
No.
Like I'm a lawyer. I cannot do basic mathematics. He's like, Yvonne, you should be ashamed of yourself.
No.
Like, I'm not ashamed. I'm creative. Because I actually prefer to do the creative stuff as well. Creating I was saying to you earlier, creating the pretend contracts of employment or contract for a house or the pause penny check or things like that. But you said something there. You're like, I think my purpose here on earth is to create. Do you believe that we all have a purpose?
I think so. And I think like no purpose is greater than the other, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't necessarily like I found my purpose in helping people. I think I really like helping people. And my way of doing that, it was creating tutorials online to giving people advice with makeup, teaching them. Now it's evolved to creating products that they can use in their makeup bags. Like I don't think it needs to go to a certain level, if that makes sense. I think it's the fulfillment that you get yourself from that. And I feel like the fulfillment that I get when I create, like that's what I was meant to do. Like I'm happiest when doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was literally skipping here today.
Yeah.
So when I get to have like conversations or I get to do events, it's like, this is what I meant to do. And I think everybody knows that, but they might have the fear of just doing it, taking that step because we're afraid of judgment.
Oh, no, I don't. I can't think like that. Like I would rather like do something and be embarrassed or be like, that didn't work, you know, then look back in my life and be like, oh, I didn't do that because I was afraid of that. No way. I could not let someone else's judgment stop me from doing. We've got one life. One life.
I know.
I'm not doing that. No.
It's such a good attitude. So, but you went from like that into launching your own brand.
Yes.
You're creating looks. You've got a massive following, but now you are the founder. Mm-hmm. Do you find it a little bit hard now because like maybe you have to manage a team, manage people more, and it takes you away from the creative side or
100%. And that's my word for the past few years has been balance.
Yeah.
Has been balance. So trying to find the balance between it. I think anyone who started a business knows how hard it is and knows that your time can get pulled into things that might not necessarily be what you're best at, but you just have to get it done. Do you know? When you're a startup business, you're doing all sorts of things. I was varnishing PR boxes for whenever we were sending out our first PR drop. I was out with a spray paint. I have no business varnishing anything. But I'm a startup business and you're going to do those things. And until you can build your team up and hire people who are smarter than you and better at you in their certain roles, like you have to get stuck in. So it is going to take away some of your time, but you have to be able to recognize that and look at the bigger picture. So if I'm sitting in a meeting about smelly numbers like what you said, or I'm thinking, okay, this is not my strong point right now.
Or boxes. I saw something, you were looking at boxes the
yeah,
other day.
we're talking about boxes. Like if I'm
packaging.
if I'm in things that might not necessarily be my strong suit, I'm learning the whole way. And that's, I think the really big thing is I'm eager to learn about it still. But it's all about the bigger picture. You know, I can see what my life is going to be. I could see like the stuff that I absolutely love doing, creating products. Like I get such a kick out of that, and then seeing people's reactions and using it. I know that there's going to be some things that might not necessarily be your strong point or that you love doing in between that, but they're worth it to get the end goal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's getting dropped into those little bits that you're like, but you kind of have to do it, especially in the beginning, don't you?
Yeah. 100%. But like I said, I think once you grow, that's when your time can kind of become a little bit more precious to you then, and you can use it for things that you would rather kind of be doing, or what your superpower is, say, for example. And that's a big thing now is Kash is set up 4 years now. It's going to be 5 actually in September, as if it's my child. But yeah, it's 4 years now, and 4 years in, this is when we're kind of relooking at me and my job even within the brand then, and making sure that what I'm solely focusing on is the product development. As like, obviously that's always been my number one goal, but everything else kind of in between. We have other people now who, like I said, are better in those roles and know what they're doing, real experts in their roles to be able to really build up the brand. What's that quote, isn't it? Like, hire people who are smarter than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I think people just naturally think, oh, I want to be the CEO of a business and blah, 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 blah. But the reality is if you're a creative person, you don't really want to be.
No.
You want to be creating.
Yeah.
So you want to be doing that. What's your favorite part of like the whole process? What's the, like, if you could just do, if you have a morning work day and it's something that you absolutely love in the business, what's the best?
I love coming up with ideas for makeup. I love when I think of something, I'm like, no one's done that before. And I love thinking of the whole concept, like really visualizing everything. So from what's the packaging going to look like? How are people going to use this product? What way are they going to look? What way are they going to feel? But also the campaigning, the photography, videography. Like I'm very much everything visual. I love anything that's visual. That's what I love to be doing. I love to see things that were just in your brain come to life and everyone work together to make that goal happen. Like that is what really excites me. And then seeing it then, something that you work so hard on and you know you put everything into, being enjoyed by other people. Like I think that's so special, have something that, like I said, was just an idea in your brain that you thought of when you're lying in bed, and just as you're about to fall asleep you get this great idea and you can't sleep for ages. that idea is now being enjoyed by other people. Like I love that. I love when people get excited about things that I get excited about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like sharing that experience.
Yeah, it's all about connection, really.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But I was just thinking about that there. Yeah, like it's just the people make the business. Do you you were talking about visualization there. Do you, like, I read something about you and manifesting. Are you a big manifester?
I am.
Or how would you describe manifestation to you?
I 100% believe in it, like 1000%, because some of the things that I've just said on a whim have come through, like crazy things that like are just, that make you stop and go like, what? The way I see manifesting is, I think 100%, it's like your goals, and you have to visualize this though, and you have to be so specific. We actually get, he's like a performance coach, and his name's Jerry Duffy. We get him in to work with the guys in the office as well. And he talks about goal setting, and the way he talks about it is, he always says you have to be so specific, like so specific about how you're going to get there. And I really believe that with manifesting, like we were talking about houses there. Like I can't say, oh, I'd love to have this gorgeous house and then do absolutely nothing to aim towards getting that gorgeous house, do you know, or even visualizing what that looks like. You have to put in the work. And I think being very specific with it, like what Jerry always kind of tells us, it's like, say for something, I don't know, you want to go to the gym. I want to start going to the gym. Okay, but how many times are you going to the gym in a week? Where are you going to the gym? What are you going to do when you're in the gym? What does it look like? You have to visualize every aspect of it. Like that's what I believe in manifestation as well. Now, there is times though as well where, like I said, I could say things on a whim and I'm like, oh God, I really love that. But what I'm doing in my everyday is I'm doing something that I love, and I'm putting so much love and work into it that those things that I think about that might not be at the forefront of my brain all the time. I'm working towards it, if that makes sense.
100%. I even say that now. I just say that I actually am manifesting more quickly now than I ever have.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I'm doing stuff that I love.
Yeah.
So like you could actually, I always say like you need to write it, to invite it, you write it down, you follow the steps, you're visualizing. But now I could just say something like, I'd love to have this person on the pod or this. And it just happens. But I think it's because you're on that vibe.
You're putting in the work though. Like you're in here, you're posting online, you're doing your workshops, like you're putting yourself out there and putting in the work, and then these things are coming to you then. Yeah. That's how I see it. Is like I feel like you have to be putting in the work and putting in good intentions, but really enjoying what you do, and then that will gravitate towards you. If you're not enjoying it, first of all, it's not going to come towards you. Do you know, you need to enjoy doing the smaller things to really appreciate the big things then as well.
Totally.
I have so many experiences of it. Like I can remember I was doing makeup masterclasses and I was on stage and I was doing people's makeup, and you know, they're like, who's a brand you'd always love to work with? This is back, I don't know, it must have been 2016, 2017 or at this time. And I was like, I'd love to work with Morphe. I meant just with like a brand collaboration, as in like, you know, posting or like them sending me PR, not ever imagining that I would be the face of one of their palettes as part of a collaboration, and they would have me in billboards over in America and there's stores everywhere like that. That's crazy to me. I'm just a little girl from the back arse of nowhere in Ireland. Do you know what? That kind of stuff doesn't happen. And there really is, there's big things like that. And then even we were setting up my goals for this year or whatever.
How do you set up your goals?
So I would sit down with my management and say, if we're talking, so there's a few different things. Obviously there's Kash Beauty, which is the brand, but I'm talking Keilidh MUA. Yeah. Keilidh MUA.
Yeah.
Her goals. Yeah. I would sit down with my management, but within that, there's a lot of personal goals then as well. So, you know, if there's certain brands that I would love to work with or certain opportunities I would love to do, like for example, I'd love to go to like a fashion week. That's something that I would just really, I think I'd love being around all the different clothes and be really inspired by that. But, and personally then, something, and if the team of the list are going to be laughing at me for this, because I've always said I just would love to go to Texas or somewhere like that. I just would really love to go somewhere super country. I grew up riding horses and was obsessed with Hannah Montana. Like I loved all things country when I was younger, and grew up around that. And that was literally what I just said there in January. We were setting down my personal goals. It's like, I definitely want to get to Texas, as in like on a holiday or do something like that, Nashville or somewhere. And then I get an email the next day inviting me to Texas on a brand trip.
See?
It's wild.
It's wild. And sometimes you can't actually explain everything.
No, you can't. And it happened to me before as well. I remember I was writing down, I seen people going to Iceland and I was like, God, I'd love to go there. I'd love to see the Northern Lights. Get invited to Iceland. Like it's just.
But I think you're on that vibration.
Yeah.
But a lot of the question I actually get asked a lot, and I'm going to ask you so you can tell the people, is how do you raise your vibe when you're low? So like we're all human, right? You're obviously going to have some low days, and sometimes you can't even explain it, right? And I always just say like your vibe, like if I have a low vibe, I'm just like, I recognize I'm a bit flat today. Maybe there's no reason for it. Yeah. But then I'll just start saying shit to myself. Like I said the last day, I was like, something good is going to happen to me today. Yeah. Something good is, I kept telling myself that. And then that's when I was telling you, Eric from the book messaged me and was like, yeah, I'd love to come on your podcast. I was like, you have to pull yourself out of it, you know?
It's mind over matter. Like it really is. And that's not to say that it's easy either. Like your brain is the most complicated thing ever. So it's not as simple thing of being like, I'm happy now. You really do have to speak to yourself kindly, I think is a really important thing. But also I think recognizing as well, look, I'm having a shitty day today. And that's it. You're having a shitty day today. Okay, be kind to yourself today then. What is things that you can do that make you feel good? Whether it's like having a self-care kind of evening. I always feel better after that. If I have a shitty day, I just feel like I need to wash the day off me. If I just do all my little bits and pieces, go the extra mile, you know, use all your nice smelly creams and whatnot, that you just feel really good afterwards. I feel like I'm kind of washing the negativity off as such. But I think doing things that you really enjoy, no matter how big or small, and even if there's not necessarily to have another outcome, only for it to make you happy. Does that make sense? So say for me, before makeup became my job, obviously it was such a thing where it was just something that I enjoyed doing so much. I just loved it. When I would feel stressed or whatever, I would sit down and do my makeup, and that's when I would get lost in what I was doing, my flow. I'd get into the flow of things and do that. But now obviously it's become more so my job, that there is obviously different stresses kind of attached to it. So now I have to find something else that kind of relieves me completely, which is reading for me. And I always feel better after I read then as well. So that would be the thing I would say, is if you're feeling you've got low vibrations, you really have to talk yourself out of it in your brain, really speak positively, and then do something that you enjoy that will also help to lift your mood. I really think doing stuff is important.
It's so important. You've got to take action.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all about the action and recognizing, okay, this shit has got to change. And exactly. I have to do it. What kind of books do you read?
Oh, I don't, this is the thing though as well. I've read manifestation books and everything before, and like self-help books. But when I read, I don't want to educate myself. Again, this is me trying to just cleanse and like distract myself, and really, again, because I'm such a visual person, I love reading fantasy books.
Okay.
Like, they're my favorite. I just finished the Fourth Wing series. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I don't read any fantasy
or anything
like that.
I love it. It's about dragons, and it's the best thing ever. I love it so much. But that, see, for me, I get so much enjoyment out of that because I love visualizing everything. And for me, it kind of takes me out of the world a little bit. And I'm like so excited by what I'm reading in the book, or, you know, the characters and whatnot, that I just love that. And again, I think that's important too. Before, when I was trying to read, say, like self-help books, or I was really putting myself in this place where I was like, right, I need to get better. I find I was actually putting more pressure on myself as well sometimes, that it's like, not everything you do needs to have a purpose of almost like getting yourself better. You can do something to enjoy it, just to enjoy it. And that in itself will raise your vibrations.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like, we don't all, like, I just personally like the manifest books and different books like that. But like, we can do stuff just to do it because we like it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's such an important thing, because say, for example, me, I remember I was trying to read this book before and I just couldn't get into it. It was, I think it was, I can't remember what book it was, but it was some sort of manifestation book. And I was getting annoyed at myself then because I wasn't retaining the information and I wasn't able to take it in. So here's this thing that was supposed to be helping me, where I wasn't in the space to be able to take it in right then. And I was trying to force something as opposed to just doing something. Like, I was supposed to be relaxing. Do you know, that kind of way? So I think you can go between the two, but it's just knowing what makes sense for you and kind of knowing yourself is really important.
And when you talk about the kind of two different brands or kind of branches, like, so you've got like Kash Beauty, and then you got Keilidh MUA.
Yeah.
I saw something on one of your TikToks, which is kind of reaching out to people, being like, what do you want to see? Like, are you finding it more challenging now to figure out, how do I differentiate myself from the brand and the business, or am I? Because you know the way people say, like, people buy from people. Yeah. So like, you are the brand in a way, but you're also a person, and then there's the brand. So how do you? What does that look like for you now? Like, is that something that you think about a lot? Like,
that's something that I'm definitely was thinking an awful lot. I think I was really actually overthinking it to a point, to be honest. And people, like I said, love seeing the behind the scenes. But for me, it's like, I always want Kash to be a brand that almost necessarily isn't built on me. Like, when people hear of the brand and they're like, they've no idea who I am, I'm like, that's a massive win, because I'm like, that's great. They're hearing from the brand for itself, for it being a great brand. And maybe when they come in, then that's when they kind of see the behind the scenes that go on with it. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, it's trying to find the balance between the two. But I also feel like I'm 28 years old now. And I feel like I'm in a growth period and things can feel a little bit uncomfortable and you're just trying to kind of figure stuff out. I've been doing Keilidh MUA online for over 10 years now. So the stuff that I was doing when I first started isn't stuff that I'm doing now. I don't have the time to be sitting down and doing like massive, crazy creative looks. Or if that's what I'm really wanting to do, then I need to make sure that I can make the time and kind of change things around. So I'm in this period where it's like the puzzle pieces are moving around a little bit. And I'm just trying to figure out what makes sense then for both. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And do you ever struggle with how much to put up of your personal life?
Oh, I used to post way more personally whenever I was younger. But again, it's not for any other reason, I don't think, as opposed to just getting a little bit older. Yeah. I think when you get a little, and like I'm 28 years old, I'm still a child basically. But like in my head, it's like you just automatically get a little bit more private.
Yeah.
You kind of value different things. Like whenever I feel like you're younger, if you're posting things, it's almost like, in anything online, there's always a little bit of validation you're seeking. I always say this, it's kind of like a double-edged sword for me, because obviously my online Keilidh MUA is my job as well. So I have to be showing these things and have to be doing this. But when I was doing it before, there was a little trickle of wanting to get validation from people from it, or being like, look what I did. Like, people said I couldn't do this, and now after doing it. Whereas now I don't seek the validate. I don't get it the way I used to when I was younger.
Because you're just totally confident in yourself and who you are.
But that's why I need a different why then for posting. I need to look at it kind of differently, as opposed to posting now and being like, God, I don't want people to think I'm like gloating or like bragging. That's a very Irish thing as well. It's actually more so showing people, oh, well, I did this, so you can do this.
And I think that's a great point, because the second, when I talked about the manifestation box that I was saying to you, your first is what do you want, and then your second card is why. And it's so important to have a strong why, but you've mentioned it so many times here. Yeah. It's that connection with other people and inspiring people. Yeah. Because someone will look at your video and be like, wow, even your video that, with saying, I was in my grandmother's room 10 years ago with Ellie Goulding's song, anything could happen. Yeah. And I swear to God, I'm one of these people, I don't know if you do this, but I'm one of these gals that likes a song and listens to it 100 times over and over again and won't turn it off. So that was
that's me 100%. Yeah.
But I listened to it all the way here, and I just think like that's actually even me. I'm like, yeah, anything could happen.
Anything can happen. That's like I was saying to you. That's Danielle Collins' trends that she started. She's absolutely brilliant online. But the words are true. Like, this is the thing. It's a little trend on TikTok, but it actually is. The words are so true as well. Anything can happen, and I'm such a big believer in that. I just think if there's something that you really want and you feel like you'd be good at and you can make a good difference, that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What are you manifesting now?
A house.
A house.
Big time. Yeah. But again, we've viewed so many houses. This time I could honestly sell them myself at this stage. Like, I'm not even messing. I've seen so many houses. But we're in a really good position now. There's just been different things happening. But the type of person I am, I'm very much so, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I don't let myself get too attached. I try not to. And if something doesn't go my way, that's not for me then. I really do believe in that. I think I don't let myself dwell on what could have been. I'm like, right, okay, that wasn't for me then. What's next? That house is gone. I'm not going to have it. There's a better one coming for me.
And that's the way I always say to people, just say this line, it's this or something better. Yeah. So you're bidding on a house, you don't get it. Oh, well, it's something better.
Exactly.
You always convinced yourself. Someone in TikTok said this to me. They're like, oh yeah, you're one of these that's convincing yourself that your life is great and it really isn't. I was like, no.
It's very negative of them. They basically just told you their life isn't great. If you're concerned about what other people are doing, if you're spending your time concerned about what other people find joy in, then you're the one with something wrong with your life.
But when you want to buy the house, are you looking in where you're from?
No, Mullingar.
Yeah.
So I'm from Monaghan originally, but moved to Mullingar whenever we were setting up the business of Kash, because it just made more sense. That's where our warehouse is. That's where everything is kind of shipped out from. It's closer to Dublin as well, whenever I'm wanting to do fun things like this and different meetings. So it just kind of makes more sense. And also the way I look at it, I'm weird when it comes to thinking of things being forever. I don't solidify myself in. So I'm like, this is my first home.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. So I'm not putting as much pressure on myself to be like, oh my God, everything needs to be perfect. It needs to be something that I've always wanted, because I don't know what I want yet. And things change too, do you know? So it's like, I know in general what way I want to feel and everything when I live in this house and what I want this house to do for me. But I'm not putting the pressure on it to be like, everything needs to be perfect, because perfectionism can stop you from doing things then. If you're like waiting for something to be perfect, then you might not actually grow.
Oh, I 100% believe that. Yeah. Like, I'm definitely not a perfectionist. I'm like, I just need to start and get there. And I almost work backwards. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I want to do an event. And I'm almost working backwards. Like,
visualizing what the event looks like. That's what I always say. I'm like that as well. If I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to host an event, I'd be like, okay, what's all the little things that I want in it? How do I see? What is the vibe when you're there? Like, what is all? I'm really building that up and then working backwards to be like, okay, how do we get there then? Yeah. You need to have a clear plan of what the end goal kind of is and really work and visualize towards that. That's what I believe anyways.
Yeah, you're great. I think I was saying this to you earlier, that I think makeup artists, like founders, makeup artists, are amazing manifestors because they just can visualize. Yeah. And a lot of people say to me, they say, I can't visualize. I struggle to visualize.
Yeah.
But I think your idea of reading a book that is like a story, it's like you're reading it and you're visualizing.
Yeah. Do you know that actually this is so true, different people see things differently. So your brain, I know you were mentioning that earlier, that you love reading into brains and like knowing everything about that. But yeah, the different people can see. Some people, if I was to say apple, some people listening to this right now would see the word apple. Some people would see the Apple icon. We need to get off our phones. But I would think of like, I would see in my head a big red apple in someone's hand like this, almost like, you know, Snow White, the big red juicy apple. Like that's what I see.
And I see a green Granny Smith.
Yeah, whereas some people won't. Some people literally just see the text apple. So if you're someone, again, maybe you're finding it hard to visualize thing in your head, write it down. Write it down. Get a book. Write down what you're visualizing and or that you can't visualize. Just if you're like, I know I want this. I might not be able to see what it is. Maybe if it's a house, I want a big leopard print chair. That's what I keep saying. Maybe you can't visualize the leopard print chair in your house, but write it down. I want a big leopard print chair, or I want a big barn doors, whatever it is that you want. Even if you can't visualize it, I think putting it down, because if your brain can't visualize it, put it on paper so your eyes can at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And do you think that there's some things that you struggle to manifest? Like some things come really quickly and maybe something like the house is just taking a bit more time? Or do you just see that as this is teaching me patience and the right thing will come when it's supposed to?
That's a great way of looking at it. Teaching me patience. I'll steal that one. That's what I'll tell myself. Again, it's kind of that thinking of what's for me won't pass me.
Yeah.
And because actually whenever I'd even started off doing makeup, I originally had applied to another college course that I wanted to get into. It was for big theatrical makeup. I had spent my whole year doing this portfolio. That was my excuse for not studying. I was like, I'm doing my portfolio as I can. So I spent my whole year doing this, and then I didn't actually get accepted into the course. But I don't remember sitting there and being like, oh God, I didn't get the course I wanted. And straight away I was just like, okay, what's something else I can do then? What's another makeup course? And instead I done a 1-year course. That allowed me then to come out of college after a year, go into working in the industry and learn so much from then. If I had have gotten that course I originally wanted, I think that college course could have been around 4 years. In that space of time that I would have still been in college, I already had a makeup collaboration. I already had built my platform online. So I've been shown so many times that if something isn't for you, something better is happening. And I really do believe that. Maybe I'm delulu, but my delulu came true lulu, as people say. So I am going to keep being delusional because it's working for me.
I absolutely love that, because like even like my sister would say to me as well, she really wanted to do psychology. And I'm like, would you just go back to college? It doesn't matter that you're 42. Just go back. Who cares? And she said to me, oh, it's easy for you. You've always known it. You wanted to do law. And I said, hold on a second. I didn't get the points to do law though. I didn't get the points.
You made
and
it
I
happen.
studied hard. Like I did arts in Galway, but that's where I met my best friend, who's my best friend for life. Like I just think rejection is redirection. I even got the other day, I reached out to somebody to sponsor our event on March 29th. I was like, this is going to be epic. It's a move and manifest. Matt Cook is coming over. I've got it's going to be so much fun. There's going to be 60 people there that are all high vibes, energy from the community. And I reached out to someone like, would you be interested in sponsoring this? I think and they were like, we'll have to politely decline. And initially I was like, damn. And then I was like, hold on a second. Something bigger is coming for me. You know what I mean?
Well, I could sponsor your goodie bag if you'd like.
I'd love that.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Now you have Kash Beauty.
I wonder if you come to the event, meet Matt Cook and tell people, be like, I want to put, there's this thing where you put, I saw it on Taylor Swift, these sparkles on her face.
Oh yeah, glitter. Yeah, I love glitter. Glitter everywhere. Yeah.
I would love if you sponsored the goodie
Yeah, that would be cute.
That would be so amazing. And it's all women who are like really, so I'll give you an example. I was telling you that I was doing the manifestation challenge, and it's a 21-day manifestation challenge, and it's so much fun. We do things like, oh, you'll have to give me your address, effectively your work address, because people always say, can I have your address? I'm like, it's my home address. But anyway, you buy the card you would expect to receive if you manifested what you wanted. So I want you to go and buy a dream house, new house, or congrats on your new home card, and just write it to yourself and post it to yourself. And then you get it and you're kind of almost, you almost laugh about it. But So we're starting one in May, but the pre-orders are out now, and we do this. Someone said, "Look, I'd love to join, but I can't afford it. It's €75."
Yeah.
And one of my best pals said she grew up from a single parent home. She didn't have a lot of money when she was growing up, and she just worked so hard, and she's doing really well now. And she said, "Yvonne, can I please pay for that person because."
She sees herself in her.
And she said, I wouldn't even have had the courage to say that because the person had asked me, and I put them on my stories anonymously, do you have payment plans? And that's the Klarna thing, you know, and we just don't, it's such a small business.
I get it.
Like, I'm not this huge global thing that we just don't have that.
Yeah.
And she said, I wouldn't even have had the courage to ask that. And so then anyway, I put it back on. I was like, listen, we've got to pay it forward. We now have 11 pay it forwards. Just people saying, can I pay for somebody to do? And it's all
Is that not incredible? Like, and see, this is the thing though, that woman, as your friend said, she would never have had the courage to kind of say something like that. That woman wanting to better herself and wanting to do something for herself. She had great intentions, although she didn't have the means to actually do it. That intention of her wanting to do it has now allowed many other people to have a great experience as well.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think that's incredible.
And people say all the time, they're like, oh, because the top thing, this is true. Like when I post, like people aren't there manifesting the Ferrari, the Chanel bag, the villa, they're not. Like it's it's always abundance.
Yeah.
And now not to be rich, just to have being able to pay your bills.
Yeah.
Right? It's abundance, soulmate, and baby.
Aww.
Or one of them is friendships.
Yeah.
People struggle with.
Oh God, that makes me so sad. No, it's great that they're like. The thought of someone thinking that they don't have friends makes me so sad. I'm like, how? Like, as in, people will always. I think what you're doing is great at the workshops because it brings people together. It's similar actually to my masterclasses. There's loads of people who would come by themselves, and I'm like, just come by yourself. You're literally in a room full of people who love makeup.
When are you doing the next one?
Hopefully soon. I haven't got any dates put in, but I know that that's something I'd really love to do. And what I said I'd love to get back doing is my masterclasses because I just love teaching so much and I love meeting people like that.
Building that community.
Exactly.
That you already have it, obviously.
But
you
it's nice to see people in person.
Yeah.
The personal connection is so different, I feel like. And it's funny because I've been around a few of my friends who wouldn't be online and wouldn't really, you know, whenever you're really good friends with somebody, you actually don't really know what to do. Like that kind of vibe. But I could be walking somewhere and someone could recognize me from online. I'd be talking to them and I chat to my friends afterwards and they're like, do you know them? And I was like, oh no, I haven't a clue who they are. They've just been following me for years. And they were like, the way you were speaking to them, I thought you were best friends for years. But it's like, because I understand the people who follow me love makeup. And it's like that when you go to these things, like if you enjoy running or you enjoy manifesting, you should push yourself to go to those things, even if it's scary going by yourself. I'm a really big believer as well in, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone brings the biggest reward. If you're in your comfort zone, you're just going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That's it. Whereas I feel like the best rewards come from when you push yourself a little bit further. Like it's funny, you speak about confidence, or me being confident earlier. I don't feel like that way in myself a lot of the time. Like I have friends say that to me too. They're like, you're so confident. I'm like, am I? Do you know, like, I'm just like, I just feel like I'm doing something that I love, or in my head, I could be so nervous about something, but I'll be talking to myself being like, nope, think about what you want afterwards. Think about what's the main reason why you're doing this. Push yourself, even if you're feeling a little bit nervous right now, because you're going to feel so much better. I used to be terrified. I mean, terrified of public speaking. Like, so bad. I was in college and to be in front of 10 people and my voice would be like, the whole time. So bad. I started doing makeup masterclasses and I'd have to be down in Rescue Remedy beforehand. That's how nervous I would be in front. But because I gained confidence through makeup and I was talking about makeup, that's where I gained my confidence through. And now I'd be nervous if I had to go up and stand and talk in front of people if it's not makeup.
Yeah.
Because that's where my confidence is. I'm talking about something I know. Do you know?
Totally. But also it goes back to that point of you're always going to be able to create content or stand in front of people if you're being your authentic self.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And if, like I said, makeup is my authentic self. Makeup is the thing that I'm confident in. So I feel like I can tell anybody about it. And I know that I'm helping people by standing up on stage doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's...
And it's also easier as well. If you're trying to build a brand, we know these days, like you have to be on the Instagram and the TikTok and this, that, and the other, right?
Yep.
But if you're not doing something that's authentic to you and you're just
people see that.
They'll see it, but also you can't create the content consistently.
No, because you'll have no want to do it. You won't want to sit down and do it. Like, again, you have to maybe change your perception of it then. Like, if you are starting off a brand and you know you have to create content, you're like, oh God, I don't want to be looking at myself online, yada, yada, yada. Just pretend you're creating a video for your friends, but on this thing. Do you know, maybe it's like manifesting. My friend is like, oh, I want to get into, I want to learn how to do it. Okay, let me create a video showing you how to do it. Do you know that? But just see it as that you're really helping people. Again, it's the end goal. What is the end goal that you see with it? It's helping people. It's you wanting people to get on board with that as well.
Yeah. What's your end goal?
Oh dear. I think it evolves still all the time as well. Because again, my goal was to create a brand that I absolutely loved and enjoyed creating makeup every day. And now I'm living my end goal almost. So it's like we need another end goal now. So the end goal, I just love for Kash Beauty to become the biggest it could possibly be. I'd love for people, like I said, to see the brand and not even know it from me, but to recognize that it has got amazing products, great products that everyone would love, makes them feel confident, makes them feel beautiful, just something that's part of their kit. For Keilidh MUA wise, I'd love to get back creating content that I really, really love and that like I'm really excited by. Like, again, I think as I've gotten older and as I've changed and as times have changed, I need to find my little thing that like clicks so much for me when it comes to creating content. So, but I'm excited by that. I'm excited that, oh my God, I'm going to get to find that again.
Yeah.
Do you know, like I'm not thinking, oh God, I loved doing the crazy creative makeup looks before. Now I'm not doing it anymore. That makes me sad. It's like, I know that that's what I'm capable of doing and that feeling of when I create, I know I can get that. It's just about finding the right thing. Like I said, it's like a growth spurt and happiness. I think that's it. The really big thing. I just love to have a really happy life, be able to look after myself and my family. Like that's the big why at the end of the day as well, right?
Yeah.
It's to be able to look after the people who looked after you. I think definitely. And help other people as well then.
Yeah. And final question.
Yes.
What would you say to other people, even younger people who are in secondary school, going into college, really want to do makeup, but are getting that, but how are you going to make money doing that? What would you say to them?
If you really want it enough, you will make it work. And I think it's in any creative industry, people always kind of turn their nose up. Or I was like, how are you going to make that work? It's like anything. It's like dancing. It's like acting. People are like, oh, think he's going to be an actor or he's going to be a big dancer. Do you know, people are automatically going to think negative about it because they see it as a harder thing to get into. But I think if you really put your passion into it, you put so much work into it. In a lot of creative fields as well, there's things you end up having to do for free. You just to get your name out there, just so people know your kind of work. Like there's just so much, but I really do believe that if you put the work in and you're passionate and you really, really do enjoy it, that it will come to you. I really do.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
So much
I'm
for
excited
me.
to see where Keilidh MUA is going.
Yes.
I'm going to call you Keilidh MUA.
Keilidh MUA. Lots of exciting things, hopefully. Yeah.
Oh, a super manifestation queen. I love it. I love when I get to interview people that are just like totally on the manifestation vibe. And you know what's really funny was I had reached out. I was looking for a particular guest on the podcast, couldn't get in contact with them. So someone told me, why don't you reach out to this PR company? So I reached out to the PR company and I was like, can I get these guests at all? And they came and I said, this is what I'm looking for. They have to have a product. They have to be a manifestor. Blah. And then I didn't even write your name down because I was like, there is no way she'll come on.
You're silly.
I know.
But I love talking about these things. That's the way I see it. I love having conversations with people like this. And like, this has put me in such a good mood now. I'm like, I'm going to get that bloody house. I'm going to walk out of here and demand the keys. But you know, like you're
going to go in and buy like I said, you're going to print off the dream house contract from the Boss Penny website.
Exactly.
You're going to buy yourself today. You're going to buy yourself a key ring.
Yeah.
Go into the city, buy yourself a key ring for your dream house.
Yeah.
And be like, this is the key ring that I'm going to use when I open that front door.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you know, it's just going back to that thing of seeing somebody online and having this perception. She's 2.7 million followers on TikTok. She's not going to respond to me.
That's crazy though.
I know, but
see, you're limiting yourself, I think, in that way.
Totally. Totally. But then when someone like you comes along and says yes, and you're like, oh, Stop those limiting beliefs.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, you've got to just.
No dream is too big.
No dream is too big. Like, exactly. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
I can't wait until you're saying, I just bought my dream home.
Yeah.
Well, my first home.
The first home.
I say that to my husband as well when we bought ours. And it was so funny because we were looking at a house in Sandy Mountain. I told you he didn't want something that had to be renovated. We went upstairs, we looked out the back window and we could see the Aviva Stadium. Yeah. He's a massive soccer fan. Yeah. Don't ask me why, but he is. And he was like, oh, we live so close. This is so close to the Aviva. So we started bidding on the house, bidding on it. And what had happened was bidding. And of course, when you start bidding, there's another bidder.
There always is.
But there wasn't before. They'd actually dropped the price of the house.
Of course.
So we were bidding. And then eventually it got to a point where I remember being in our tiny, shitty apartment that we were renting. I shouldn't call it shitty. Look, I'm grateful for the apartment that you did have. It wasn't ours. We were renting it. Yeah. And I said to him, that's it. This is the last, which is unusual for me. Usually I'm just like, spend all the money, just get the house. Yeah. Usually I'm like, and I said, we have to stop here. And I was like, we just can't anymore. It's gone up so high. Like, we have to stop. And he looked really surprised because, like I said, it's not. The next day they were like, and I'd let go. I just let go. I was like, okay, look, if it's not meant to be this one, it's not meant to be. And the next day they're like, it's yours.
Exactly. It happens all the time once you let go.
And I am so glad that we didn't get that house that was in the alleyway in Rathmines that I really wanted. Yeah. And now I'm in this location where my kids, I walk him to school across the road. We walk into the village. We never take out our car. So I feel like it's all worked out, and it always does work out even better than you could have expected.
Yep.
But when the house doesn't come along or you get outbid, it's like you say, it's this or something better. Next, not meant for me because something even better is coming along.
100%. I really believe it. I do.
Yeah, so do I. So it's great. Well, thank you. Final question is like final question, final 5 minutes. Keilidh has to go. Like, she's got appointments to go to.
She's a busy girl.
She is.
No, but I love chatting to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.